Hi everyone, this is Dragon Expert here. Today I'm going to teach you a little bit about the Pokemon trading card game deck BlazeRay. Now the main focus of the deck is to be able to force your opponent to switch out and knock out whichever Pokemon is the most important to them at any one time. So let's get started. The first thing you'll definitely need to have is Blaziken FBs. Now these cards have 80 HP and are a base hit. For 1 fire energy, they do Luring Flame, which allows you to switch that offending Pokemon with any one of their bench Pokemon, and the new Pokemon becomes burned. Keep in mind you cannot use this if the active Pokemon has unknown G attached to it, or if the Pokemon on the bench have the unknown G attached to it also. And then if you do a fire and a colorless, then it does 30. If they have any water Pokemon in play, it does 30 more damage for a total of 60. Now that's not bad damage, but the more important thing is that it is needed for the Blaziken FB level X. Now his Pokebody makes it so that then any Pokemon that's burned, either yours or your opponent's, take 40 more damage. And then it does Jet Shoot, which does 80 damage, which is very nice. The only drawback to using that attack though is it takes 40 more damage in your opponent's next turn. But it's still well worth it. So for the deck to run properly, you also need to have BlazeRay GLs, which can be gotten from Rising Rivals booster packs. They also have 80 HP. And for 2 colorless, it does 30 damage, which isn't terrible, but it's not fantastic either. And then it does 70 with Trash Bolt, but you have to discard energy from your hand to use it, making it not so great of an attack. But you use them mainly to set up for the BlazeRay GL level X. He has an amazing Pokepower that makes it so when you bring them into play from your hand, you can force them to switch out to whichever one of their bench Pokemon you want. And then that allows you to control who you want to knock out, because if you can't knock it out with the BlazeRay GL level X, you can switch to one of your other Pokemon, because BlazeRay GL level X has free retreat. And then it does 60 for 2 energies, is one of which has to be a lightning, but then you have to do 30 to one of your bench. It's not such a big deal though if you put it on one of your Pokemon SP, because you can always use Poketurn to put the SP Pokemon back in your hand, thus healing it. Now every deck usually ends up running Claydol for Cosmic Power, to put 1 card in, to 1 or 2 cards from your hand under your deck, and then you draw until you have 6 cards. That's a great way to refresh your hand. And its attack in this deck you will never use, pretty much. And then that leaves you a little bit of space to put some tech cards in if you want. Now in my deck, I use the Blaziken from the Platinum booster packs, because its Pokepower, or Fire Breath, automatically burns the defending Pokemon, and you can do that once per turn. Now that works really well with Blaziken FB level X's power, which makes you do 40 extra damage to burned Pokemon. And then for 2 colorless energies, you do only 40, but they cannot retreat, which is pretty awesome, and it has won me games with that. And then Fire Spin does 100, and then you have to discard 2 fire energy from it. Or 2 energy, it doesn't have to be fire, I guess. And then every good deck needs a solid trainer engine. And in SP decks, a big engine is the Galactic engine, and it starts with Cyrus's Conspiracy. This card allows you to search for any 1 supporter card, a basic energy card, and a trainer that has Team Galactic's invention in its name. Now the most common ones you're going to get for your supporter, you're normally going to grab another Cyrus, unless you really have a good hand. You're normally also going to grab Energy Gain unless you have that, or a Poketurn. But if you need a Pokemon and at just the right time, SP Radar will work great also. By putting 1 card from your hand back into your deck, you can search your deck for any 1 Pokemon SP. energy gain just reduces the attack cost by 1 for your SP Pokemon if it's attached to it. The Poke Turn we already talked about, where that just lets you put a Pokemon SP back into your hand and all cards attached to it, which is very useful for reusing the BlazeRay GL level X. And a lot of decks also use the card called Cynthia's Feelings. You shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw 4 cards for a supporter. And that's pretty good because then you get to refresh your hand, and especially if you only have like 1 or 2 cards in your hand to begin with. Now, if they knocked out one of your Pokemon on last turn, you get to draw 4 additional cards. So, by giving up your hand to your deck, you get to draw 8 cards if they knocked out one of your Pokemon last turn. That's pretty amazing when you can do that. Then Volkner's Philosophy is another supporter that is getting to be kind of common. And you can choose whether or not you want to discard a card in your hand. And then either way, you draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. So if you get the option to draw 1 extra card, basically, if you discard. Just make sure you discard carefully so you don't discard something you need later. And Palmer's Contribution is a great supporter card because it allows you to take up to 5 in combination of Pokemon or basic energies. It's a great way to recover if one of your Pokemon get knocked out or if you need energies back. And Roseanne's Research should pretty much be in every deck, in multiples, usually 3 or 4. You can search your deck in any combination of up to 2 for basic Pokemon and basic energy cards. Note that you cannot take Pokemon level X. Many decks will also use the supporter card BB Search. By choosing 1 card from your hand and putting it back into your deck, you can search your deck for any 1 Pokemon, which includes Pokemon level X. And then Aron's Collection, I use this one because you can get back 2 in any combination of Pokemon SP or basic energies. So it's really nice if you're running low on energy, or if you need to get a level X back. Warpoint is something that's great for disruption in any deck. It forces both players to switch their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon if they have any. The only time you cannot play this card is if neither of you have a bench Pokemon. Then any deck that uses Stage 2 Pokemon should be running a couple of Rare Candy, because it allows you to go from the basic Pokemon straight to the Stage 2 Pokemon and without having to use the middle stage. And it can be done the same turn you lay the basic Pokemon even also. And Versus Seekers are pretty popular because they allow you to search your discard pile for any 1 supporter card and put it into your hand. And being that Versus Seeker is a regular trainer card, if you haven't played your supporter card for the turn, you can immediately play it then right afterwards. And then I also use Stark Mountain because it allows you to move a fire fighting energy from one of your Pokemon to a fire fighting Pokemon. And pretty useful if you need to retreat or if you put the energy on the wrong guy for some reason. And then many players will use Night Maintenance. It's a regular trainer and lets you search your discard pile for up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energies. Then Level Max isn't as common as some of the others because it requires a coin flip to work. But if you get a heads, you can search your deck for a Pokemon level X and put it on top of the Pokemon it levels up from. And then any deck has to run energies, so just standard fire, or a couple lightning. And then almost every deck that's competitive will also use call energies because along with providing 1 colorless energy, instead of using one of the Pokemon's normal attacks, you can opt to search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. It's awesome to prevent yourself from losing first turn because of having only 1 basic, which I've had happen to me. Overall, I hope that helps you learn a little bit about the BlazeRay theme deck. See you guys next time.